Hey you guys, um, I am back with another video. I know it's been a while since my last video. Um, Completely apologize for it being so long. It was never my intention for me to take this long in doing another video. Um, it really has been a lot going on, and um, I just wanted to at least let you guys know that I am okay. Um, I know it's been a while. Um, I just, I guess you can say for the most part, I've been going through a lot literally since August. Um, it's just been one thing after the other, and um, it's just been so many attacks coming at me all at once. And I may share a little bit towards the end of the video. Um, but right now, I just wanted to let you guys know I miss talking to you all, and I have had some dreams. I apologize for not uploading them sooner, um, but I do want to go ahead and get y'all up to date as far as some of the dreams that I have not shared. Um, but I will say one of the dreams I would like to share is I don't remember the month. I want to say it was, I'm sorry, I do know the month. It was October the 27th. Um, wow, it sounds weird just saying that, considering it shows how long it has been since I've done a video. But October 27th, it was a very brief dream. It was almost like a glimpse. Like God just showed this to me, and I literally woke up out of my sleep. Um, but I remember seeing this strong wind. I was outside, and I just remember like it was such a, I don't know how to explain it, but the winds were extremely strong. I mean, almost a violent type storm. And I remember the wind was so strong that I could see trees being uprooted from the ground. And I got the impression that Obama was in the midst. Like, I just remember seeing a glimpse of him. Like I said, this was a very brief um, dream, vision, whatever you want to call it. But it was very quick. It was almost like a glimpse. Like it just let me see it, and I immediately woke up. Um, but yeah, I had that. Another dream I would like to emphasize. I don't remember the exact month, but I remember having a dream where it depicted me being in Florida. Like I knew I was in Florida, and I don't have a lot of dreams where the dream lets me know where I am. But this was one of those dreams where I just knew I was in Florida. And I just remember me and a lot of other people that I didn't know. We just started taking off running. Like we just knew we had to hurry up and get to some type of high ground. Um, and what was interesting was there was a mall, and everybody started running into the mall. But I knew there was a strong um, storm that was coming, and um, it was known that it was some type of tsunami. That was, it had something to do with a strong storm that involved uh, water, and I just knew it was some type of tsunami. And like I said, there were so many people, and we were just trying to run to get out of the open. And one of the areas that was pretty much evident in the dream was it was a mall, and I just remember everybody was running inside this mall. Um, Another thing that stood out in the dream was there was some type of demonic force. It was very strong. Um, and it showed where I could see people being killed. And I don't know why I dreamt this, but I actually saw like a spirit. It was like I got the sense in the dream like I knew there was something going on as far as spiritually because people was just coming up like they were just dying. But I was able to see in the spirit, and I could see this actual spirit. It was a female spirit, and I remember it tried to pin me down, and I just began to cry out Jesus, and it let me go. Um, but this was a very strong demonic spirit, and it was a female. I knew that, but it was very interesting because I was able to see it, whereas other people were not able to see it. Um, so I had that dream. Um, I want to fast forward to this year. Actually, I'm gonna start December. Hold on, trying to look at my notes real quick. Um, I'm not as organized. I wanted to get everything situated, but it was really on my mind to just, go ahead and do a video since I've been kind of waiting so long to do it. So please forgive me. I'm trying to go over some of this stuff. Okay, yeah, it was December the 30. I want to say it's the 31st. Okay, no, it was New Year's Eve. So it was the morning of New Year's Eve. I actually I had brought in the New Year with my children, and it was like I guess you can say I laid down around 12:15 in the morning. We all laid down, and we just stayed up until midnight just to bring in the New Year. So when I laid down, this is the time frame when I laid down and had this dream. So it was, I guess you can say it was actually the first day of the new year um, when I had this dream. Well, I dreamt that I was in this building and all of a sudden I saw these drones. Now, it wasn't, and let me back up, I'm sorry, let me back up. After what we brought in the new year, we all lay down to go to bed. And when I was laying down, um, I remember just praying and asking God, um, what should I expect for this year? What is something that I should expect to happen this year? And so after me asking that question, like I said, this is when I had this dream. Okay, so I'm in this building, and it was like a regular house. I didn't recognize the home that I was in, but I just knew I was in a house. And all of a sudden, I started seeing these drones, and it just started shooting. And these were not flying drones; these were actually drones that were traveling on ground. And it just began to show me seeing these drones being operated going through houses. And I also saw how from a distance I was no longer, it wasn't like it was me being affected, but it was allowing me to see. And I could see how these drones were even on the outside of the home, and I could see people running and diving over couches, and it was like these drones could detect body movement. It was almost impossible in a sense to really hide behind anything because these drones could detect your movement, and they knew where you were, even if you were hiding behind a couch or if you was hiding behind a door. Like, it was able to detect your movement. And that was pretty much all I remember about that dream, and I woke up. Okay. What's very interesting to me is I was talking to a friend of mine because a lot of times we share dreams with one another, and I was sharing this dream with her, and she told me that her husband had told her that this is something that they've been working on for a few years now. I found that to be interesting because I had never heard about this. Well, today, maybe an hour ago, before I made this, started making this video, she sent me a screenshot of an article about this very thing, and this is what she showed me. I found this online, and it says DoD wants to build drones that can buzz into bad guys' doorways. So, you guys, I don't find that to be a coincidence. Now, this is showing, I believe this is the drone, but what I saw was not a flying drone. This was more so drones that were traveling on ground. Um, but that, when I saw the headline, and I know that's what made her think of me, she saw this headline, and it fits into what God had revealed to me. Um, so I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to play this because I think this is so cool. Seeing the waffles. Okay. Another dream I want to share with you guys is a dream I had. Let's see. Um, okay, I had this dream on January the 2nd, the very next day. Okay, this dream was a little strange to, I was, well, it was strange to a certain degree. Um, but I dreamt that I was, first of all, it showed me being like in this theater room. Um, and it was like I was watching a play take place on a stage. And I got the feeling that they were acting out a scene, like a scene where they were portraying themselves as if they were like it was a church service or some type of church event, and they were acting it out on stage. And I remember feeling offended by what they were doing and they um, how they looked. It was almost as if they, I don't know, like I got the feeling that they were compromising in some kind of way. Like, it really it bothered me, and it offended me because I felt like they were making a mockery of God, and I didn't appreciate it. And so it ended up where I was outside, and I got the feeling that it was some type of concentration camp. I can't tell you why I feel that. That was just what the feeling was. And I just remember there were a lot of people, and it was like they were separated in age groups. And I remember, um, I remember seeing my sons there, and my oldest son had came up to me and he just held me real tight. Like, he's never gave me a hug like this, but it was such a, I don't know, like it was a different kind of hug. And I remember watching him talk to his brother, and they was just talking, and he ended up having to leave. But I remember as I was watching him leave, I could hear the guy, which I had the feeling that he was like the head guy over the whole place. And I heard him kind of whisper because he was talking to another person. I heard him mention my son's name, and he told this guy, give my son a red shirt. Now, I had the feeling that to have a red shirt means that you were pretty much lost to this system. You were pretty much one of them. Like there was no way of escape. Like you belonged to them. That was the impression I got in the dream. And so I knew I couldn't let this happen. And so I remember just taking off running as fast as I could, and I was going to where my son was, and I busted through the doors, and I was looking for him, and I found him. And I remember I was waiting just for the right time to escape. I knew the guy who was over this whole place was about to leave. And so my only chance was to leave when I knew I was in the clear. And so I ended up getting my sons, and we were able to escape. And our way of escape was getting on this ship. And the guy that um, was in charge of, um, coming to this place. I'm trying to, I don't really know for sure. I just got the feeling that this guy's job was to come to this place to pick up certain people. But um, in the dream, it was as if he knew me and I knew him. And he knew that I was escaping, but he was also willing to help me. And I remember my children were like, they were so weak and so hungry. And I remember he had fixed them a piece of, he had gave them a piece of bread and with peanut butter on it. And he gave it to my children, and they began to eat. And that was all I remember. Um, I'm not 100% on this, but I just got the feeling that what stood out to me was concentration camps, which brings me to another dream I had back in December as well. And in this dream, I saw myself outside, and it was a bunch of snow. And let me go ahead and get out of here. It was a bunch of snow, and I just remember um, I was trying to find my car, but I ended up being in this different car that really wasn't my car, but in the dream it was my car. And the car didn't even look like a car. It was really weird. It didn't have your actual functions like a regular car does. It was like it was white um, panel all across the car. Like there were no, it was a steering wheel, but there were no gear shifts. There was no radio. There was nothing, no odometer. Like there was nothing that you would normally see on a dashboard. Everything was covered in this white panel. I don't know. It's very weird. Well, anyway, as I'm driving, like I said, it was a bunch of snow on the ground. And I remember seeing these militants. They didn't look like they were from America. But I saw these militants. It was like every street I would come to, I would see these militants on the streets, and they were arresting people. And I just remember I was just trying to make sure I was driving, 100, so there was no reason for them to stop me. So I was being very careful in how I drove, how I came to a stop, because I just knew they were watching me. And I ended up making it to this place, which it seemed like I was going home, but then it seemed like the place became like I almost got the feel like it was a huge warehouse, but there were multiple rooms. in this particular building. Like it was very long, and I just remember I was about to lay down, but then I heard these same militants start coming through this building, and I could hear them going from door to door, um, and they were arresting people. And I just remember knowing in that moment I had to hurry up and get out of there. And um, I remember grabbing my keys and I hurry up and put my shoes on, and I was trying to figure out a way of escape, and that's when I woke up. So I had that dream in December. Trying to find the actual date. Let's see. Um, Sorry, I'm not. Oh, I had that dream December 19th. Okay. So fast forward again. Sorry I'm jumping around, but I know it's been a while since I've shared dreams with you guys. Um, January the 3rd, which was yesterday. This was a very brief dream, but it holds great significance. Um, I had dreamt that, um, I'm just going to go on my YouTube channel. Um, I had dreamt that I was in a grocery store and I was trying to, well, my reason for going was to purchase some milk. And what was very strange is I had every intention of purchasing a gallon of milk, but when it came to me checking out, it seemed like it was like a very small container of milk. Like it looked like it was probably like a pint of milk. The size was a pint. Um, but what was very interesting was the fact that I ended up paying almost $6 for this milk. And I just remember leaving the store just feeling very weird by that because, I'm like, this is all the milk I got and I paid this much money for it. And so I just really believe that that dream was showing me that this is what's going to happen eventually. With the economy collapsing, it's going to cause food prices to skyrocket. And the reason why I'm on this is my YouTube channel. These are a list of my videos. But there's one video in particular I want to emphasize on. I shared this dream April 17th of 2014. It's entitled Prophetic Dream Regarding the Blood Moon, a Soon Coming Disaster. If you haven't checked this video out, please check it out so you can get um, full details of this dream. But I'm just going to point out something in particular. Um, in this dream, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. In this dream, I saw a blood moon. And as I was watching this blood moon, it went from being a red blood moon to it turning into a regular white moon. But the moon began to shake violently. It was as if something had grabbed hold to the moon and just started shaking it like a rag doll. And it was distorting itself and it was doing all these weird things in the sky and it was just flip flopping like it was out of control. And as I was watching this moon do all these weird things, the moon began to come closer to where I was. And it literally stopped right in front of me, like literally in front of me. And the moon had a sad face on it. And as I was watching this, the moon spoke and it said, the capital of America is coming to an end. And as it spoke that, the moon hurried up and went back up into the sky where I first saw it, and it turned back into a blood red color, into a blood moon. And also, I would like to emphasize in this dream was that I heard in the wind, I heard a voice in the wind say, Um, it was either checks canceled or canceled checks. That's what it said. And I believe God was showing me a few things in that dream. But the main emphasis is the fact that this blood moon said that the capital of America is coming to an end. Now, there are two definitions of capital and how we can look at what this dream was referring to when it said the capital of America is coming to an end. I believe this is a two-part prophecy. One being the capital is the most important city or town of a country or region, usually its seat of government and the administrative center. So we can see it from a governmental standpoint. And also, the second definition is capital can mean wealth in the form of money or other assets owned by a person or organization. And so, the key word is money, wealth, finances, resources. So, I believe this was a two-part prophecy. I believe this was a warning saying that the capital, the government of America is coming to an end. And I also believe it was referring to the wealth of of America is coming to an end. And I believe that we have seen many signs of this being a true reality. Even the Pope had made a statement a few months ago how he said that the economy is that we're basically going to see a economic collapse. Now, for the Pope to randomly say that, that right there should draw people's, attention. Um, I just want to also emphasize that um, we are going to be experiencing another blood moon in April of this year. And the last blood moon, which I believe is called a super blood moon, is going to occur September 28th of this year. Um, I just want to also say to you guys that around November of 2014, I began to feel a heaviness. I mean, a deep heaviness in my spirit regarding 2015. I felt such a heaviness because I knew that things were going to change drastically. And I'm not just meaning for the world in general, I'm meaning for our nation. Um, I truly believe that we're going to experience some major events that are going to change this nation for the worse. And my heart is for people to wake up if they have not already awoken to the times that we're living in. I cannot stress enough the feeling that I had. And when December rolled around, it was even more of a heaviness. And it's even been hard. I mean, I know we're already into the new year, but even bringing in the new year, it was hard for me to say Happy New Year. Because, yes, I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong, that God has allowed me to see another year. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with me knowing what this new year is going to usher in. And that's why I felt weird about saying Happy New Year. Another word that was really resonating in my spirit, and it's very interesting that I've seen two other confirmations of this same word. Um, Again, around November, I remember just feeling, I don't know how to explain it. I just knew that the words, God is going to shake everything in the earth. Everything that can be shaken will be shaken. That kept resonating within me. Even when I would talk to people, I would emphasize that very thing. The confirmation that I received was actually around, I want to say it was around the 2nd of January. I was watching um, a YouTube video of Paul Begley, and he made emphasis on that same thing. And he also said that he was checking out a video of um, Shannon Johnson, um, and he also touched on that. So I went and watched his video, and sure enough, um, he did emphasize that. And what was even more awesome was the fact that while he was speaking on this, he was literally experiencing a earthquake. And so you could see and hear things shaking. And so I was like, wow, that was pretty much what God had been showing me, and what I was feeling in my spirit. And so I say all of that to say this. We are living in a time where we are seeing at a greater scale Bible prophecy being revealed. And God is getting our attention. I went to the movie theater to see Exodus. And when I left from seeing that movie, all I could hear in my spirit was God telling me, warn my people that I'm coming. Tell my people I am coming. He just kept saying that to me. And I strongly feel that we have no idea. I mean, we really don't have any idea what is about to unfold this year. I mean, just saying that we're literally here in 2015 is amazing to me. Like, it seems so unreal to say this is 2015. I just know that God has been revealing to me that things are going to speed up even more. We're already seeing time being sped up, and I believe it is God's grace that He's allowing the time to speed up, because we're seeing so much happen on such a greater scale, and it's so much going on that it's hard to even keep up with all the news. Trying to, it's one thing to be watchful, but it's hard to even keep up with all the things that we're trying to watch for, because so much is unfolding every day. And so I believe it's God's grace that He's allowing time to speed up, because there's so much evil in the earth, and there's so much darkness that God doesn't want us to have to prolong in this type of environment. He doesn't want us to have to suffer in a sense where it's such it's a suffering that we're having to endure for a longer period. Like, I just truly believe that it is His grace that is allowing us to experience the days being shortened. Um, And I just looking at everything that I've been watching and paying attention to, you would literally have to be in denial to at least say to yourself something is different. I mean, it's almost impossible to not at least see that to a certain degree things are changing. Things are no longer the same. You know, and I think in a lot of ways, like, yes, I know people are blind and they just don't understand, but I also feel that it's a sense of denial. Um, and that's a scary thing, to be that far in denial that you can't see what's right in front of you. But I know sin can blind you too, especially when you're caught up in it. It just saddens me, to see that people are so out of touch with the way God is trying to get our attention. I mean, there are signs everywhere. Everywhere there are signs. And it really bothers me, and it really touches me, to know that people are so lost. And I just, you know, I knew I had to come on here to talk to you guys because we are in 2015 now, and like I said before, I've been experiencing a lot of attacks, and it's been rough. Like, it really has been rough, and I've been trying my hardest to be strong and to do everything that I know is important for me to stay focused, to stay on task. But the human side of us, it's hard. And so I've just really been in prayer. I've been really trying to stay quiet and be quiet and just surround myself with people that I know are going to really go in and pray for me and pray with me and encourage me and speak life into me. And one of the things I always emphasize to you guys is to keep pushing. Don't stop in the middle of where you are. You have to go through it no matter what. No matter how hard it is, no matter how hard it gets, you have to keep pushing through it. You guys, I've been attacked on my job. I've been falsely accused. My reputation has been at stake. My character is trying to be destroyed and tarnished. Um, People that I thought were my friends have betrayed me, have literally done evil towards me for no cause, for no reason. Um, I've been attacked in my marriage. Um, I've been attacked in so many ways, and the attacks has come back to back, literally. And so it was to a point where I was like, God, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I really don't. And I find myself questioning God, not asking God why me, but more so just trying to understand what is going on. And God just reminded me in Second Timothy, where it speaks about, I think it's, let me see if I can find it real quick, you guys. This is so not scripted at all, but I just want to be led by the Holy Spirit. Um, so bear with me. I'm looking it up right now. I want to make sure I quote this correctly. 2 Timothy, I believe it's chapter 3. Yes, chapter 3, verse 12. Let me repeat that again. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 12. And it says, "Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution." And so, what he's saying is, if you choose to live godly, if you choose to follow Christ, he didn't say you might suffer persecution. He didn't say it's a possibility you may suffer persecution. He said you shall. Meaning that is something you better just make up in your mind. That's how it's going to be. You shall suffer persecution because of him, because of his name's sake. And so it just reminded me of what I chose. I chose to follow Christ. I chose to no longer follow the world. And so because I have denied myself and I have picked up my cross to follow God, to follow Jesus, I chose to take on persecution because Jesus took on persecution. And so the Bible says, don't find it strange. Don't count it strange when strange things come upon you, when you're tried and when you're persecuted. Don't find it strange. Because all of these things are going to happen because of who we are. It's because of who we belong to. The world hates us because of Jesus. The world will never accept us because we accept Jesus. It's all about Jesus. And that's why we are hated. It's because we take on the name of Jesus. We have said that we stand with the Lord. And so when we chose to stand with the Lord, we had to take on everything else that comes with that. And so Paul told us to count it all joy when we are persecuted for his name's sake. How do you count it joy when you're lied on, when you're talked about, when you're mocked, when you're betrayed, when you're used and taken advantage of, when you're being mistreated, when you are being falsely accused, when your character is being dragged in the mud, when your reputation is being destroyed by people who you never thought would do those things to you, by people who claim to be Christians. How do you count all of that joy? You count it joy because you can say 100%, I am enduring all of this because of Jesus. I am enduring all of this because of my love for him, because I chose to follow him. And because no servant is greater than his master, because Jesus endured this very same thing, it is a testament to us, woman of God, man of God, that we are on the right path. We are on the path of righteousness because we are taking on the very thing that Jesus took on. And how can we say that we shouldn't have to go through these things? We're no better than Jesus. Jesus is the Son of God. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He is our Savior. He is our Redeemer. And he endured these things. So who are we? Who are we that we shouldn't endure the same things? Don't get me wrong, it's hard. Believe me, I have been going through. It has been hard for me going through this. But at the end of the day, I have to endure this. This is my walk. This is me carrying my cross. And so you guys know that the road is going to continue to get rough. And the road is going to continue to get hard. But count it joy when you go through. Because God is perfecting patience in you. He is perfecting a perfect work in you. And He knows what He's doing. He knows exactly what He's doing. You were called for such a time as this. He is strengthening us. He is equipping us. And He knows what you're dealing with. He knows it's hard. He hears your prayers. He sees your tears. He knows your heart. He sees the pain. He feels it. He hears you when you pray to Him and ask the question, how much longer, Father? How much will I have to endure this, Father? How much longer will I have to, go through this situation? But the Lord is telling you, continue to endure, my son. Continue to endure, my daughter. For I am with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. And so I encourage you, my brothers, my sisters, keep pushing. Keep persevering. Because I'm telling you, you guys, we are almost at the finish line. Jesus is coming. He is coming. You keep looking up. You keep watching for Him. You keep waiting for Him. You keep trusting Him. You keep depending on Him. You keep leaning on Him. You keep believing Him. Whatever He's saying to you, whatever words, whatever promises, you stand on those words. You stand on those promises. Don't you give up your faith. Don't you do it. Not now. You've come too far to turn back. You keep going. You keep trusting Him, daughter. Keep trusting Him, son. This is what He's saying. Keep trusting me. I know where you are. There is nothing too big for me. There is nothing too great for me. You cannot be too far, and your situation is not too big where He can't come and rescue you, where He can't meet you where you are. Trust Him. Depend on Him with everything you got. He loves you. He loves us so much. And you guys, I'm not just speaking this to you. I'm speaking this for me too. Because when I tell you I have been hurting, when I tell you I have been going through, I have been going through. But you know what? God is faithful. He's faithful. And He loves us so. He loves us so. And so I want you guys to know how much I love you. I love you all so much. And I just want you guys to know that you're not alone. Surrender everything to Him. Anything that you have loved more than God, surrender it now. Ask the Lord for forgiveness. Whatever it is. If it's money, if it's your job, if it's your husband, your wife, whatever you have loved more than God, you surrender it right now. Surrender it right now. And come back to your first love. Come back to your first love, beloved. Let's get it right, you guys. We cannot afford to have anything stand in the way of our relationship with Him. He's coming back for a bride without spot or wrinkle. And He's waiting for us. He's waiting for us. We can do this. You're not alone. You're not alone. So let's continue to endure. Let's continue to persevere. Let's continue to run this race. Let's finish it. Let's finish it together. Please, search yourselves. I mean, honestly, search yourselves. And make sure you're doing an evaluation. An evaluation of where you are. It's time for us to get very real with who we are, what we're dealing with, what our issues are. We got to face it. We can't sweep it under the rug. We can't pretend it away. God needs us to deal with these things before it deals with us. So I'm encouraging you guys, please seek Him with all your heart. Not some of it, all of it. I love you again. I've truly, truly missed speaking with you all. I thank you all to the new subscribers. I'm so sorry it's been a while since you've been able to get a video, but I'm going to do better coming into this new year. Whatever words, whatever dreams God reveals to me, my goal is to be more consistent in sharing these things to you. I apologize again for it being such a long time, but I think you guys understand that when you're going through, sometimes you just have to shut everything down. And you just have to get into a quiet place where it's just you and God. And that's just where I've been. So I love you all. I can't say that enough. I will continue to pray for you all. Let's not be fearful. Let's not be fearful of what is coming. And I want to leave you with this verse because God gave me this scripture in 2014 towards the beginning, and I've been holding on to this verse. And I would encourage you all to hold on and stand on this promise as well. And it's found in Luke 21, verse 36. And it tells us to pray. Pray that you are counted worthy to escape all of these things that are coming upon the earth. And that is a prayer that I pray literally almost every day. And I encourage you all to do the same. I will be back with another video as God leads. But until now, I love you. Continue to look up because our redemption is drawing very nigh. God bless you.